everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of the Secondary League Podcast, a baseball podcast presented by the Pinch Runner. I'm baseball YouTuber and writer for the Pinch Runner, Dawson Wright, and today I'm joined by Noah Wright, who is also from the Pinch Runner. And Noah, things are going to get quite heated today.
Yeah, we're not happy about a few things, but we're going to try and talk about that.
Yeah, today we are going to be discussing the dreaded pace of play.
And further waging our war against pace of play.
Yeah. The Pinch Runner versus pace of play.
And Manfred.
Biggest beef in MLB history. So, I figured we would get started with the thing that you're most unhappy about, which is the runners on second base in extra innings rule.
Yeah,
so,
that's the one that makes me mad the most because I've seen it happen to the Independent League that we talked about last podcast, and I just don't like how it can drastically change a game. And it's not even like 15 innings. It's like 10th inning. There's a likelihood that run is going to score. It's almost a guaranteed run, basically, for whichever team comes up first.
Yeah, I've been looking into this rule a bit more, and I've been thinking about it. Like, think about this for a second, okay? Maybe in the minor leagues, this isn't so bad. Think about it, okay? I'll tell you why, okay? Because, okay, unless you're like, I don't know, unless you have like season tickets to minor league baseball like I do, or you're like a hardcore minor league fan, which there aren't really that many that really care that much, right? So I was thinking about it from the point of you have less guys throwing less innings, and then it kind of, with all the Tommy John stuff recently, even if it's that much less, even if it may not be that much less pitching, but I don't know, it's kind of like, who cares? A lot of the minor leaguers, when it goes into extra innings, they don't really care, right? They already live a life that, isn't that great. I've seen them stay in some of the worst hotels I've ever seen. Some of them, they just want to play. They're just trying to get their way up. I know some of them are passionate.
Because I was watching. They were talking about on the network that they broadcast the Pirate games, and they were talking about how it's like not such a luxurious life for minor leaguers, because they were talking and interviewing some of the AA kids and just showing like how their lives are lived when they're in the league they're in.
Oh yeah, it's bad. You think, you get to go play baseball for a living. A lot of these guys are like pumped up, as soon as they get their first contract. But then you think about they still have to pay the dugout manager people. They still have to tip them, right? Which they don't do in the major leagues anymore. They passed a rule on that the dugout manager guys have like a set salary now. Minor leagues, they still have to pay them. I've seen guys with water that like comes out of their tub and it's like brown when they're staying at a hotel. I've seen people sleep inside a shower, right? I've seen some pretty bad things when it comes to minor league baseball. I know Adam Duvall, he said that he had to be a taxi driver when he was in like single A as his second job, right? So it's not for minor leaguers. They're just kind of there to try and get their call up, really.
Yeah, but my point, with this rule, I don't like it because, okay, sure, it doesn't, with the minor leaguers, it doesn't really affect that, but this rule is affecting more than just the MLB. Like I said, the Indie League. I don't know how many more independent leagues have that rule, but this rule affects more than just the MLB and the minor league,
I know.
I just don't like that it's influencing other leagues. I just something doesn't feel right about that.
I'm trying to think about it from the grand scheme of things. The indie leagues, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really care because it's the indie leagues. I know you go to a lot of indie league games, so you might feel different about it, but for the indie league standpoint, I don't really care. I really care if Manfred is considering putting this in the MLB, which I know that he is.
I'd be extremely upset.
That's when I start to have a problem with it. Because, I understand, we talked about this before, where the point is, oh, you want to get the game home by faster, and I'm just kind of thinking, why, right? Like, is there a particular reason? Like, usually these games will end in 10, 11, 12, 13 innings. Usually it's like 13 innings or less. You don't really see that many that go like 18 innings and stuff like that, right? But my favorite Major League game I've ever watched, like all the way through, was 18 innings, right?
Yeah, that probably would have ended in like the 10th inning if this rule was in place then.
Mm-hmm. Petit became a postseason hero. Like, that game would have been over a lot quicker, and I'm like, why? Like, why? I know that the season is long, but it's just like, if they, I don't know, if they like played, these innings already, let's just, I don't know, keep it going until somebody wins. Like, soon there's like, if we continue down the same path we're going down, I feel like soon there's going to be like ties, and we're gonna have a bunch of whack records like hockey. If there's ties, man, I don't know what I'm gonna have to do. I don't know. March on MLB headquarters might have to happen, man.
March on, let's do it.
I don't know, but I really don't like this rule. As far as indie leagues and minor leagues go, I don't think it's that terrible, really. But in Major League Baseball, absolutely not. It has no place in Major League Baseball, I don't think, because like, I don't know, we just kind of been playing it how it is for so long, and changing it would just, one, be weird. Two, a lot of people wouldn't necessarily like it, right? Who doesn't like free baseball besides people on ESPN, right? But yeah, I just don't think it has a place in baseball. Alright, so next what we're going to get into, it isn't necessarily, well, it isn't a pace of play rule, but it's still kind of important, I think, and important that we talk about it, which is, there's been serious discussion about banning the defensive shift.
Yeah, I don't like that either at all, because if you look at the Joey Gallo shift, there is 4 outfielders, and they move Bregman to left field, basically. They move all the other outfielders to the right, and there's a whole open space on the left side of the infield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you're saying, well, it's because he hits it that way, well, why doesn't he just bunt the other way?
Yeah. Like, it's easy for us to say, like, oh, why don't you just hit the ball the other way? And, oh, why don't you just bunt the other way? But, I mean, seriously, these guys are paid millions of dollars. I think you can find someone to teach you how to bunt. But, like,
I feel like that with enough training, I feel like I could get a decent enough bunt down. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even a professional athlete or anything.
Mm-hmm. And the reason for them saying, oh, we need to get rid of this shift, right? Because it eliminates offense, okay? Right?
Yeah,
that's the whole argument on the shift side. But I say, okay, but again, they can learn to hit the ball the other way. I feel like the next, big thing in baseball will probably be players that know how to hit the ball to all fields, because they can't be shifted on, and they'll hit for a higher average. We've seen Bryce Harper's average get super low this season. I think the lowest it got was like 212, 213-ish, around there.
Yeah.
If it's not lower at this point. I haven't checked it in a little bit. But it's gotten so low because, he'll hit the ball hard, but he'll keep hitting it into the shift, right? So everyone's like, oh, we need players like Bryce Harper to shine through. You know why they're shifted on you, Bryce Harper? Do you know why? Why are they shifted on you?
Why?
Such a interesting question. It might be because you pull almost every single ball you hit to the right side of the infield. Why would they not stand there? It's kind of like, you can't give them a reason to stand there. That's why he gets shifted on. You don't see guys like Jose Altuve really get shifted on, right? Because it hits the ball to all fields, right? You don't know where it's going to go, right?
Yeah.
So don't blame the defense for a lack of offense, especially because a lot of the guys that get shifted on, their strikeout percentage is over 15%.
Yeah, that's kind of leads to the 3 true outcomes thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, 3 true outcomes, it's probably one of the worst things to happen to baseball, honestly. Like,
why do you think it's one of the worst things?
In the past decade, because it's breaking a game of so many possibilities down into very little,
Yeah, I understand if you have like a guy, like a few guys like that, but I mean, you can't just have like a road, like some guys is just like some lineups, their star is a 3 true outcomes. Yeah, it's like something doesn't seem right there because like Oakland A's, their best hitter is probably Chris Davis probably, and he's a 3 true outcomes guy. So it's like something doesn't seem right about that.
Yeah, like because to me, I don't know. This might be true for you. I haven't asked you about this yet, but to me, if a guy hits a homer, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 seconds later after he hits it, then what? He's jogging around the bases. Okay, everyone cheers, boom, sits down. Right? Okay. After he hits it and it lands, so depending on the hang time, it'll usually be 3, 4, 5 seconds-ish, right? After it lands, to me, that's where the excitement is, like, over, right?
Yeah.
He hits it, boom, the ball goes up, it lands, okay, and then it's just over, right?
Yeah.
So then...
But in your video, I assume you're going to make this point that with a base hit, there's more possibilities and opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. Because, you look at, a triple, right? Someone hits a triple, to me...
That's exciting. That's a lot of excitement.
The triple and the inside the park home run. Inside the park home run's kind of rare. That's why I didn't really touch on it. But the triple is probably one of the most exciting plays in baseball, especially if it's like a somewhat close play at third. Yeah. Because you were watching him run around the bases.
Yeah,
like,
and I think one of the most exciting parts is watching someone extremely fast around the bases. You have to admit, it's exciting to watch someone like Billy Hamilton hit one into the gap and around the bases as fast as he can.
Like I saw Alan Hansen a few weeks ago. Giants were playing the Cubs. Pickoff throw to first, goes into right field, right? Hansen's running around second. Okay, he's going to third. Ball's going down the right field line. Javier Baez is like walking over there. He picks it up, and Hansen just keeps trying, and then he's safe by he's barely safe, but he's safe. And honestly, I'd rather take that over a home run.
I would too.
I don't hate home runs. I think home runs are fun, and it's probably the best way to cap off a rally, right? Yeah. But I think that, Rob Manfred said, we need more offense, okay? Then how about we don't juice the baseballs anymore so people stop going for launch angle? 1, how about that? That might help, right? 2,
and discourage 3 true outcomes.
Yeah. I don't know really how you would do it. You'd have to have some sort of program, but having hitters
teach hitters to hit to all fields.
There's so much value in players that they hit homers and strikeouts. Honestly, if Joey Gallo was on my team, I'd have to have a pretty horrible first baseman in front of him to let him start, or DH or whatever. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Because to me, a 35% strikeout percentage means you don't start. And especially when you're getting shifted on like that and you're unwilling to bunt down the line.
Yeah, and also, Joey Gallo, he last year took a lot of walks. He had a 333 on base percentage. This year, 299 on base percentage. So he's not even taking pitches. He's not walking at all.
Yeah. Yeah, Joey Gallo would not start on my team. I'd have to find a way to not get him because strikeouts, home runs. That's it.
That's all he's doing this year.
That's really it. That's honestly it.
He's not even taking walks right now.
How do you have a 35%? I think it's like 36.7 or something
rate?
now. No, that's
Do you know?
I'm not sure, but I do know it's strikeout percentage. And you know who has the lowest right now in
Who?
MLB? Andrelton Simmons, 4.5%. So
Low strikeout percent.
Yep. So Joey Gallo strikes out more than 30. Wait, yeah, more than 30% of the time. Yeah, than Andrelton Simmons. I'm like, how's that even possible? How's this guy starting? I know he's playing on the Rangers, right? You know, the Rangers don't have the best roster this year, but I'm like how, bro? Like who's letting this guy play? It doesn't make sense to me, right?
Yeah, it's like he's striking out or hitting a home run. It's one of the two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, okay, lastly, touching on pace of play, the pitch clock.
Pitch clock, I'm not complete.
Oh my
I'm not
gosh.
as
The pitch clock. Oh my.
the pitch clock. I'm not as against than the starting runners at second base rule, but I still don't like it. You know.
You know, I know why you're not against it as much, because it's not going to go to the indie leads. That's why. That's why.
I don't.
That's
well,
why
no,
you're not
that's
concerned about it. I see. I get
I'm
it.
not as concerned about, because this cannot. It does not have such a direct effect on the game. Like the starting runners at second, you automatically get a runner at second base. You could intentionally let your second. You would intentionally let. I would see this happening. You intentionally let your second guy in the order who's really fast just intentionally strike out, just stare at everything, or just swing at everything and intentionally miss. So he gets on second base, and then you automatically get an extremely fast runner on second base. And it can majorly impact the game. I understand the pitch clock can still impact the game. Like, I don't know, but I don't think it would impact the outcome as much as the other rule would.
Okay, it doesn't impact it as much, but it can still impact it a little bit. I was at my.
I will still take the pitch clock over the rule at second than the runner at second base rule.
I was at a minor league game in Vegas I don't know, about 2 months ago, and so first batter this dude faces, okay.
Yeah.
It in the 7th inning, okay. Dude just came in from the bullpen, okay. Doesn't get the pitch off, time for the pitch off, okay. Ball 1. Doesn't get the second pitch off, okay. Ball 2. So he's already down in the count, 2-0. Next pitch, throws a fastball, 450 dead center. and the opposing manager, or the home manager, okay, the Vegas manager,
okay,
he gets ejected. Tony DeFrancesco, the Vegas manager, he gets ejected because he was like, "This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen." Okay, you know who gets ejected after that? The catcher. The catcher.
Oh.
The catcher got ejected because of it, because he was arguing with the umpire. Like the game was like a blowout game, but I'm like, can you imagine this happening in
the majors?
Can you imagine this happening in a playoff game? People would actually lose it. Like, because I know the pitcher, I'm forgetting his name, but I remember he did throw a lot of curveballs that inning, so I'm thinking, you know, he might have been wanting to throw a curveball the first pitch, but he was down 2-0, so then he threw a fastball, right? You know, it could affect a game. It could. It honestly could.
Yeah,
because
I understand it could affect a game like that. It could affect not just the outcome because of extra ball, but it also affects like your mentality and like psychology when you're pitching on the mound. But it doesn't have the same effect that the runner on second base rule does, if you ask me.
Like, I've been to about 25 plus minor league games this year, and I've only seen this rule like been in effect where they like call an extra ball on the count twice. Okay, I've only seen it twice. Okay,
and of those 2 times, did it directly impact the end of the game?
Okay, I just wanted to say that it was 2 different times. Okay, it was like one time was in Vegas, and another time was in a game at Fresno. Okay, so at the game in Vegas, Not really. That game was already a blowout when that guy came into pitch. It was like, I don't know, 13-0, 13-1 or something like that, right? So it didn't really affect it that much. Okay. The other game, though, okay, he ended up walking that batter because he got him to a 3-2 count, and then he walked him, okay? That inning, they started a rally, and all of a sudden, you know, everything gets thrown off. The opposing team wins. The score was, I believe, at that point, it was 3-2. I'm pretty sure it was a game against the Albuquerque Isotopes. Fresno Grizzlies versus Albuquerque Isotopes. Isotopes were leading like 3-2. I'm pretty sure it was a close game, and then it was like, you know, one ball gets called, and all of a sudden, all the wheels just fly off. I think Brendan McCurry was pitching. He threw more balls. Like he looks like he had decent stuff coming out of the bullpen. Like after that happened, because I know the catcher Garrett Stubbs, he argued about it a little bit, but yeah, they didn't go on to the Grizzlies didn't go on to score for the rest of the game. Final score was like 5-2, 6-2. So I guess it didn't really affect it that much, but it kind of did. I mean, because after that inning, then it was kind of like, oh, this game's over, right? You know, it was late in the game.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just worried for the one time, because I know if this rule gets put in place,
there's gonna be one time
it's gonna happen, like in a playoff game or like a really important game. It's gonna happen, and people are gonna complain about it so much.
I don't like any of these new pace of play rules.
You know what I find hilarious? Okay.
What?
The people that would complain about okay, let's say this, okay? Let's say it happens from like the batter's perspective or something. Like Schwarber doesn't get in the box in time, right? And then they call strike 3 on him. Cub fans would actually, like he calls strike 3 on him and the game was like over. Cub fans would actually lose it so much. And you know what's funny? Let's say it's like, you know, Cub casual fans complaining about it. They like to complain about everything, right? Casual fans in general complain about everything. Sorry, Cub fans. Some of y'all are loyal. Some of y'all are just horrible. But, you know, it's like, you know, they would complain about it, but you're thinking about it like, wait, but weren't you the same ones that wanted the rule in place to make the game faster, right? That's really interesting how, you know, when it gets to your personal gain.
Have you met some Cub fans who have one of these rules in place?
Yes.
I assume.
Okay. Yeah. I met fans from like every team that have wanted the pitch clock in place. I got a comment earlier. Someone was like, "Oh, I don't like any of the other rules besides the pitch clock because because the pitch clock, they should lower it down to like 5 seconds." I'm like, 5 seconds? That's not even possible. I'm like, 5 seconds? I'm like, some people, I'm like, what? Can you imagine how much quick pitching you would have to do? As soon as you get the ball back from your catcher,
you get your stance now.
You have to start. Like, you might
get ready, because if you don't throw it in 5 seconds, you're going to get a ball.
Yeah, that was an actual comment I saw. Like, I was like, 5? Like, I hope you meant to put like a 1 in front of that, which I think the pitch clock now is 15 seconds, right? But I'm like 5. That's like actually not possible. It's it's literally not possible, like, whatsoever.
Yeah, the catcher can't even get out his sign in time.
If that existed, I think the game would actually be like an hour and 30 minutes long. And I'm just like, oh no.
They quick pitch fastballs down the middle because they don't know what to throw.
Okay, so like the reason pace of play is even brought up, okay?
Yeah.
Is because Rob Manfred has said that he wants a younger audience. He said, quote, "I want to own the next generation of sports fans," okay? This is what he said. Okay. This is a quote from Rob Manfred, all right?
Okay, but you're going to lose most of the other generation of sports fans by implementing rules nobody wants.
Okay, but think about this. Think about this for a minute, okay? My audience, most of them are under, let's say 18.
Under 13.
They're under 18.
Okay.
Okay. That's the audience Rob Manfred is looking for. All right? So
Yeah.
you would think that, he might take a hint on what younger audiences might want. Okay?
Yeah, and a lot of people agree with you, and a lot of your audience is young.
Mm-hmm. The video I just uploaded saying that, these pace of play rules are trash and don't do this, okay?
Yeah.
It is currently 3,500 views, okay? Just uploaded a few hours ago.
Okay.
And it has 478 likes and 3 dislikes. This is the audience you're looking for, Manfred. The young generation of sports fans. They're right
the
here.
Under 18 audience, yeah, they're all agree with what you're saying, that this isn't needed.
They're right here. It's loud as day. It's loud as anything that is loud. Okay? They don't want this. Okay. The people that watch my videos, they understand baseball. They understand it. They know it's not meant to be timed. They know that it should never be timed. It wasn't designed to be that way. Well, I guess it was, in the 1920s when it was decided by the sun, right? You're going to play now or you're not going to play, right? But these people are saying, we do not like the rules that you want to put in place. Average time for a Major League Baseball game is 3 hours and 58 seconds.
So just 3 hours and a minute, and then football was around like 3 hours 10 minutes.
12
minutes.
Baseball's too long. And then got fools on ESPN like this dude. I don't even know his name. Okay, discount
Which
Stephen
one
A.
was it?
The discount Stephen A. Smith. Okay, he said, "Oh, baseball's horrible. Baseball's just white noise." Okay.
I got so angry when you put that clip there and I watched that.
That guy is an anchor on ESPN, and he does not know a single thing about baseball whatsoever. And there he is on ESPN talking about baseball. You wonder why general sports fans don't really watch baseball that much. You wonder why? Because you have fools like this on ESPN that are saying, "Oh, baseball's so horrible." What, he doesn't know anything about it whatsoever.
Get the actual baseball people on ESPN.
The thing is, they don't hire baseball people because no one wants to watch baseball. You know why? You know why no one wants to watch baseball? Because people like that guy on ESPN keep saying the same thing. Baseball's so horrible when they know nothing about it, and then it influences everybody else. Everybody.
Yeah, we need more Dawson Wrights.
How dare you say this game is terrible when you can't even watch a game for yourself, man? That's absolutely ridiculous. Who hired this guy on ESPN? They're scared. And you know what the other guy said? He's like, "Oh, social media doesn't mean anything." Social media means so much you don't even know. You don't know. I had a guy from Croatia telling me today that he watches my videos to follow MLB in the United States.
YouTube is social media. Without that, he would not have followed baseball.
See, they're saying, "Oh, social media doesn't mean anything," because they know. They very well know that social media is a threat to their jobs. They know that. Less people are watching ESPN than ever before because it has become such a garbage company, because you get people on there trying to talk about America's best sport that know nothing about it. I just get so worked over. I just get so worked over guys like this, man.
It makes me so angry
because
seeing people who complain about it. It's just like, why? You don't even watch it. You can't say it's boring if you don't watch it. You don't even give it a chance. You like that guy said, he's like, "I can't even watch it." It's like, you probably never even watch it and you're complaining about it.
Exactly. I understand baseball isn't for everybody. Same with basketball, same with football. Like, I don't watch NASCAR, right? I don't watch that much hockey either, right?
Yeah.
Sports aren't, if you're a sports fan, it doesn't mean you're going to watch every single sport. I understand that. But for people, okay, if a casual person just says, "Oh, baseball is boring," it doesn't bother me that much. I'm used to it at this point. You know, I don't really care, right?
Yeah.
But if it's an anchor on ESPN that's discussing baseball, and he's saying it is horrible, and then says we need a shot clock, what do you talk a shot? What's a shot in baseball? Can you tell me, please?
I assume he means pitch clock. I don't know.
Oh yeah, but he doesn't know what he's talking about because all he talks about is basketball. And I don't know if he knows that much about that either because he wasn't a very good NBA player either. I don't want to be like this, man. I don't want to be like this. But when you go on one of the most popular sports networks, which is dying off, by the way, and you go and say baseball is horrible with replying no explanation besides, oh, they need to speed it up, which is the most generic explanation I've ever seen in my life, and then you go and complain to the commissioner, guys like you, guys like casual fans that know nothing other than, oh, there's 3 strikes in a game, oh, there's 9 innings, blah 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 blah. Other than the people that know that, okay, they're the ones that MLB are listening to. When you know who they should be listening to, guys like us. Okay?
Yeah. The guys who know stuff about the game. The guys who are with
the hardcore fans. Okay?
The guys that are willing to spend their money to go to the games. The guys that are willing to go and buy merchandise, video games, whatever that relate to MLB. The guys that are willing to spend 3 hours of their day to sit down and watch a baseball game. Those are the guys that matter.
Exactly. Because think about this. Think about this for a minute, okay? What do we do in between pitches? Okay? Those people complain about the 15 seconds. What do we do? What do we do?
Think about what our next move is.
Exactly. We think about the game. We think about, sometimes we talk to other people around us. I've talked to people at baseball games that I don't even know. Okay? About like, oh, he might throw a breaking ball here. Oh, he should.
I first thought you meant if we were okay. Well, I first thought you meant if we were pitchers, but I mean,
no.
Like, okay, but if when we're fans and just watching, it's just like
we're fans watching a game. Yeah.
Just hope. I'm thinking like I hope he's gonna throw a good pitch here. I hope he's gonna throw this pitch. Something like that, like you said.
Yeah. Like, oh, what's he gonna do? Oh, who's coming up in the order in the bottom of the inning? Casual fans discount Stephen A. I don't know his name. I don't want to know his name. All right. He. You know what he does? He looks at his phone. He brings up, oh, what are we gonna have for dinner? He doesn't know enough, which is the problem. He doesn't know enough about the game to talk about it at all, which is the problem. This is the problem with casual fans and people that aren't baseball fans. They don't know enough about the game to talk about it. How you get there, Commissioner Manfred, how you get there is your job. Okay? I'm sure I could come up with a pretty good solution myself if I really wanted to. But I'm not going to do this job, okay?
Yeah.
Because
this is your job.
I've provided all I can, man. I provided everything that's been flowing through my head and been flowing through everyone else's head out there as well that's a hardcore fan. In what business model do you think, oh, let's cater to the casual fans, and then you ruin your own product? You know what that sounds like? A business failure. That's what that sounds like to me.
Yeah, when you're not listening, when you only listen to your casual fans. It's okay if you want to take some suggestions from them, but if you're listening to just your casual fans and your casual fans only, it's not going to end well.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what they're listening to, and that's what I have a problem with. So, man, stop. Okay. You might want to start with that. Just stop. And we need to figure this out, okay? Once casual fans, or people that aren't fans at all, if you could drag them in to watch baseball games, and you get outside sources, okay? Like I'm talking about, like, baseball YouTubers. I went from knowing nothing about basketball other than, a 2-pointer, 3-pointer. I barely even knew what fouls there were, okay? I went from knowing nothing, okay, to being one of the most hardcore NBA fans that I know. Why and how? I didn't watch television. I didn't watch NBA TV. I certainly didn't watch ESPN. Because I started watching YouTube because guess what, Manfred? I'm a teenager. That's what we do. We watch YouTube. We don't watch regular television anymore. That's what you need to understand. I watch Mike Korzemba on YouTube. I watch B-Souls. I watch Legend of Winning. I watch SDC. I could go on for days. I watched these guys, and I became a hardcore NBA fan. You know, I have a few NBA jerseys. I watch basketball all the time, right? Like, you know, saying the media is so overrated. No, it's not. No, it's not.
You know,
Social media is not
going
overrated.
into like other media besides just sports and stuff, outside baseball. My favorite video game right now is probably Rainbow Six Siege. I probably would never found out about it if it wasn't for some videos I saw online. Because
exactly.
Yeah.
You find stuff out through other sources, right? You don't just watch it off the TV anymore. That's why ESPN's getting destroyed.
Because they're only TV.
Because they're only TV. They could upload their clips from their show to YouTube. That's fine. That's fine. But people know, especially baseball fans know, they could find people that know way more about what they're talking about on YouTube and on other social media platforms, right? Does that make sense to anybody? You know, it's 2018, guys. I don't have to go get a degree to call myself a baseball analyst anymore. You know what I need? A camera and a microphone. That's all I need.
And a smart brain.
That's all I ever will need. Because, you know, ESPN, MLB, why are you partnered with ESPN? They treat MLB like complete garbage, bro. Like, they actually
like what
treat
that guy
MLB
did.
like garbage.
Yeah, like what that guy said. That's not.
Their headline shows, they talk about baseball. Okay, you know how much they talked about baseball on First Take this week? First Take is one of their best shows because honestly, who watches Sports Center anymore? Sports Center is complete crap, okay? People, okay, on First Take this week, all right? They talked about or I guess it was kind of last week. It's Sunday, whatever, okay? They talked about the Home Run Derby pace of play thing, the segment that I showed in my video. And they also talked about the Josh Hader comments thing. You know what they didn't talk about at all?
What?
The Manny Machado trade.
How do you miss that if you're a
because they don't know anything about it. That's why. That's why. They know nothing about it. They don't know who the prospects are. I'm sure they barely know who Manny Machado is because he doesn't go by the name of Bryce Harper. It's because they know nothing about it. They have nothing to say about it, and they never will, and they're going to keep going, and they're going to die off, okay? Because baseball's coming, people. Especially, Manfred, if Manfred listens to what I have to say, baseball's coming, people.
Which we think he does.
He should. And people aren't going to stand for this crap anymore, man. Especially baseball fans. They're going to see right through you, okay? Both of the guys that were on ESPN, they were filling in for Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith. I don't really know their names, but I could tell from watching them for like 2 minutes, they don't really have a clue what they're talking about.
It makes me sick with that.
They say that I'm sure they have like cue cards, you know, behind the camera. Like, okay, say they need to speed the game up, right? That's the most generic thought I've ever heard, especially when they don't really provide any explanation. Like, okay, he said, "Oh, we need
shot clock.
We need a shot clock." You know, as a fan, he said, "As a fan, I want to see a shot clock." Okay, and
You're not a fan.
And then first, he's not a fan. Second, yeah, I'm like, didn't you just say it was horrible? So like, why would you be a fan of it? Doesn't calculate in my head. And they said, you know, we added a shot clock to our game. So you know what he's talking about? He's talking about basketball. By R, he meant basketball. So it's clear to me he doesn't care about baseball. He doesn't watch baseball.
He's not a fan.
And because he doesn't understand it, he thinks it's bad. And this is the guy you have on the so-called sports network talking about baseball. All right. Understood, ESPN. Understood. I guess we're just gonna keep feeding people with false information and provide no explanation for it. Made sense. Would you like to add anything?
I think we covered everything that we wanted to talk about.
I covered everything. I went a little bit on ESPN because, you know, I feel like ESPN has been treating baseball like trash for like a long time, right? You know, because like ESPN treating baseball kind of like garbage is just kind of like why? You're like partners with Major League Baseball. Yes, Sunday Night. Like, why would you do this, right? You know, but the thing is, because all the like analysts they hire and stuff, they just don't care. And then when there's something big enough to talk about, which apparently the Manny Machado trade isn't big enough because
for some reason.
because that would have made sense. All right.
He's only one of the biggest names in baseball, going to one of the biggest clubs in baseball. Who really cares about that?
Who cares? Who cares? Is that not Bryce Harper? Who cares, right? So, you know, just if you're gonna talk about baseball, know what you're talking about to some sort of extent, please, because like, you know, how can you be on here you're basically being a representative for baseball, and you're just saying it's horrible. You're calling it white noise. You're calling it trash on television when you don't know anything about it. I just find that absolutely hilarious. I know. It's been one of those, man. My voice
tiring.
My voice is about to die. I didn't really mean everything I said. I'm sure I said some things that were a little rude, but to be honest, ESPN kind of deserved it when you have guys like this talking about the greatest sport in the world and then just
trashing on it, even though they don't know much about it
at all. I'm sorry, some of you, if I murdered your ears with my yelling, but ESPN needed that pretty bad. So, I hope all of you guys enjoyed this episode of the Secondary League Podcast. If you are listening on YouTube, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the Secondary League's channel. If you're listening on the website, I don't know, go read some of our articles or something. But thank you all for listening, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Yeah. What up, kid? This album is dedicated to all the teachers that taught me.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen?